If you think breaking a real estate contract only costs you your deposit, think again. These buyers backed out of paying for their new home on closing day. They got sued. Hi, I'm Viviana with the Live Realty Group, and I'm a licensed real estate agent in this beautiful province of Alberta. This is the team's brand new channel, Live in Alberta, here to help you with everything real estate. So if you've ever wondered what buyers and sellers get sued for in real estate transactions, I've got some videos for you. I'll break down a court case and talk about what you can do to protect yourself as a consumer and what we as agents can help you with. And if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe, help our new channel out. Today, I bring you a summary judgment from 2022, Lecco Ridge Developments versus Vaquero, where a builder successfully sued a buyer after the buyer backed out of the purchase contract at the very last minute. Please don't do this. I hope none of you find yourself in this situation. You can find this judgment on canley.org. if you want to read more of the details. Essentially, new home builder Lecco Ridge Developments had a deal with the Vaqueros to sell a brand new house for $776,400. The buyers paid a $50,000 deposit, but in the end, they just didn't have the rest of the money to close on closing day. And as expected, the buyers had to forfeit their deposit to the builder. But because the builder had to put the house back on the market and ended up selling it for less at $699,900, they claimed the buyer owed them for the difference in the sale price and a whole bunch of extra costs totaling over $80,000. Now, the buyers tried every excuse they could think of to try and get out of this situation. They argued the purchase contract shouldn't be valid because of misrepresentation and lack of legal advice. So we're victims of predatory tactics. Our realtor misrepresented the agreement. He convinced us to sign it. He didn't explain it. We didn't have the opportunity to properly read it or review it with a lawyer. And then they argued, okay, well, in the event that it is valid, then we couldn't have closed the deal anyway because the housing market tanked. We couldn't get a mortgage because the appraisal came in super low at $600,000. And then the third thing was they argued that the amount of damages that the builder was asking for was unreasonable. Now, before we get into the judge's analysis, let's break down what damages mean in any legal situation. Basically, if you break a contract, you're on the hook for any reasonable financial losses that the other party saw coming. This isn't just about the difference in the selling price of the property. It also includes any extra costs the seller had to deal with because you backed out. So if you've waived all of your conditions for a firm sale, or if you're in a seller's market and you've offered unconditionally and you're already in a firm sale, there will be consequences if you change your mind and break contract. So the judge found that yes, the contract was valid, there wasn't any shady business going on, and the buyers did have every opportunity to read the contract, ask those questions, and get a lawyer to look at it. The judge also dismissed their argument that the market tanked. For one, the buyers couldn't produce a copy of this super low appraisal, but even if they did, there's tons of case law that says a drastic change in the market isn't a reason for breaking contract. Now, the buyers here said they didn't know about some of these extra costs, like interest, additional real estate commissions, and management fees, but it turns out that's not a good enough argument either. The test is, would it be reasonable to see this coming? Is this a reasonably foreseeable loss? So not only did the house sell at a lower price, and there were extra commissions that the builder had to pay the real estate agents, but there was also the fact that the house was vacant for some extra months until the builders closed with the new buyers. The builder claimed the following carrying costs during that time: additional utilities, taxes, legal fees, administrative fees, insurance fees, and management and supervision fees. The judge agreed that these were all reasonably foreseeable. He did adjust the interest amount that the buyers were under contract for, so it was in their contract, they just didn't read it. And then the only other cost he had an issue with was the management and supervision fees, only because the builder didn't have any evidence or invoices for payment to back that up. So the buyer in the end is on the hook for the following damages: $26,500, which is the differential between the purchase price and the resale price, less the deposit that was forfeited, $28,000 for the increased extra real estate commissions, $300 for utilities, $380 for taxes, $500 for legal fees and administrative costs, $275 for additional insurance fees, interest on what they would have paid for the house less the deposit from when they would have closed to when it actually closed, and interest on all those costs that they owe the builder from actual closing day to the court day. So what did we learn from all of this? Number one, the biggest thing, have some sort of due diligence condition in place, a financing condition, so that if it turns out you don't qualify for that mortgage or your circumstance changes, you can collapse the deal without penalty within that due diligence period. A good agent will strongly recommend this. Even in a strong seller's market, we'll make sure that you are good to go. Number two, don't assume that a bad market gives you an out. You need to make sure that you stick to the terms of the agreement you just signed. The biggest one in this case was that they pay for the house on closing day. Your agent's job is to make sure you know what your legal obligations to the other party are and what can happen if you don't see it through. Finally, be prepared for additional legal consequences beyond losing your deposit. Breaking a real estate contract can have severe financial and legal repercussions. Always consult with professionals and understand what you're getting into. I'm not a lawyer, but I love this stuff, so that's why I'm bringing it to you. And the Live Realty Group is here to help. So thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you never miss a video from us. See you in the next one.